What are we gonna do? We are going to wrench on this T6.1 6.6. All right. I think all I'm really gonna do is move these shocks. Move the shocks. Hands feeling a lot better today, thank goodness. To the front of the tower. I'm gonna move these to the front. Holy cannoli. Those don't look like the right size screws for that. I'm gonna move it in one. Boom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I cannot wait. Getting a new motor tonight for this truck. 17.5 Reedy. From one of the local racers down there. He's got a bunch of 17.5s. Gosh, I can't grab that. He's got a bunch of 17.5s. I guess he's gonna get rid of a couple, so I'm gonna pick one up. That's why there's no motor in this car right now, or this truck. I should redo this wire also to put it on the front like I did my car, because I don't want to lose power during the race. This isn't gonna work. What am I doing? Is this gonna reach it? No. Oh, it's close. It's close. Oh my goodness, I tightened that. There we go. Good Lord. Oh man, I can't grab that with my hand. I had a good morning. It was our last day of morning practice at football this morning. Went over. It was a defense day. It's my favorite part. I'm the head coach now, and I know I was the defensive coordinator, and I want to spice up our offense, change a little bit of offense, do a lot of what our varsity does, and my buddy Chris is supposed to be the offensive coordinator, but I don't think he wants to do it. So I don't want to make him do it. I don't have any other offensive guys down there that I would trust with running my offense. So I think I might change over to running offense. Is that how it's supposed to look? It just goes to the front of the arm like that. And that's, I don't have to add a spacer. It's not very vertical. That must be how it looks, unless I'm supposed to get it a different shock standoff. Was that in the... don't think there is a different shock standoff in the kit. No. I suppose I could put my own washer in there, space that thing out. Yeah, a later time and still just put this on here. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Does not look right though. Still want to push it forward some, so. But I have some defense guys, like my son is a defensive dude. He's coming out to help. And I have Rod Rivera, who came out again this year, and he knows the defense. But in the end, I think it's going to be Chris calling the offense and me calling the defense. But I want him to, like, I want to add Veer for sure. This isn't working right. This is not working right. This should be a lot easier to get on, and it's not. But coaches are like, oh, you can't trust him to show up. You can't do this. You can't do that. And I don't know. I just have faith in people. If I have faith in you that you're going to do your job, then it's hard to waver. For me to waver from it, I will always believe. And if I don't, it's kind of hard to get me to believe, because I'm a hard-headed dude. Man, this is being a pain in my butt. I got it. There has to be a better standoff for that. There's probably a longer one that I got to get to make it so I can put the shocks on the front, and I will get that at the shop. I just think, I mean, if you run the same offense, I mean, we've run pretty much the same offense for the past 5 years. You don't add anything to it, like we haven't added anything to our offense. I mean, it's freshman football, but you still can't be so predictable that it's like. But we run wing T, so it's kind of hard to know what guy's getting the ball and all that razzmatazz. But for me, if you can add in Veer, if you don't know what Veer is and you don't know much about football, it's just an option. An option makes people have to change their defense. You can't run. Oh man, God, I can't. My hand. Like for instance, you run a normal defense and you're like, okay, you have a zone, you have an area, this and that. With option, you have to change. You have to teach. Now, most schools, if they're like us, you get 2 days on defense. 2 days, that's it, to prepare. Now, what makes running a wing T offense in today's football, a hard thing to adjust for is that people have to teach wing T football to their spread offenses, because if you look around, 90% of the high schools out there, they teach just spread offense. Why? Because it's super easy. And all the kids want to do is just run around and catch balls. They don't want to learn to block. They don't want to learn to actually play football. So a lot of these schools, they just run spread football. So in 2 days, they have to learn how to block and run wing T football correctly. And you can't do it. So it's hard for teams to prepare for a wing T football team. You got motions, you pull a lot, all that kind of stuff. So within that 2 days, if you add in, so if you're just doing wing T's motions, pulls, all that kind of stuff, overloading to one side, all that kind of jazz. If you add in veer, which is just an option, it even makes it worse. It makes it worse for a defensive team. Believe me, because I've called defense. I've called it for the past couple of years. If you have to teach defense assignment football in those 2 days, along with being able to run the offense, the scout offense correctly, to give a good look and all that stuff to freshman football players within 2 days, you got a pretty damn good football team. But most of the time, teams can't. Unless they're preparing specifically to play us, which a lot of teams do, because we're a good program. We work pretty hard to make our program pretty good as coaches, and that needs to be way out here. I'm gonna have to order or see if they have. Yeah, because that's got to come out a good 10 millimeters or so. So this is good for any of you guys that have a T6.1 and are thinking about changing your shocks to the front of the tower. There's got to be another shock standoff that you got to get, because the stock ones just aren't. I mean, evidently I can make it work because I did over there, but I don't know. I think I should order one or see if they have one in stock at the store today and change it up. So I would like our freshman team to run veer or option. So they have to. So not just, I mean, in opposing defenses, you have to prepare, and you can't, if you're good, like, I don't know, I consider our program pretty good. But that also it's a lot to do with how much effort and stuff you put in as a coach. For us, I put in a lot of film time for our defense, and I go through a lot of stuff to make sure they're prepared for everything that can come at them. So, for instance, on a Friday for us is an offensive day. But we do defensive, everyday drills. Then we come out and we do formations. And if I'm a defensive guy and I can put all your formations from your team onto one sheet of paper, you're in trouble. And that's how most of the freshman teams are in this area. If you run 7 formations, my kids are going to know every single thing that comes out of those 7 formations. Everything. The percentages of what plays come out, what direction, what motions, they will know it in 2 days. Easy. Now, if I throw out 12, or you throw out 12 formations at me, and I got to figure out, the motion stuff, we might focus on, the top 6 formations, top 7, because that's an easy number to 6 or 7 formations that you use a lot. If you're throwing out 15, 18 formations for a defensive coordinator, that's tough because you can't get a look at 18 formations in 2 days. You just can't. There's not enough football time, especially with freshman football players. You just don't have the time. And that's what I told Chris. I'm like, hey, we have this, this, and this. How about we shift and do this? Or motion, do this. Change this and this. And he's like, oh, why would you want to do all that? And I'm like, because I've done defense for the last 5 years, and I know how hard it is for a guy to have to teach 20 freaking formations and get percentages and all that kind of stuff in 20 formations, man. So I don't think he wants to go through all that hassle to learn and all that stuff. So I changed up the steering. It's all aluminum now, Loctited in. Very little play, which I like. I'm not a fan of this Reedy servo. I might get a Savix one. Change it up. Because I like the Ryan Cavalieri servo that I have in my B6.1. I like better than this Reedy. But it is what it is. It'll work. 35 tooth here. Should be good to go. I flossed. Hopefully I deleted it before people could see, but I streamed yesterday, and my hand was in so much pain that the aspirin wasn't working. I just been through a full day of work with I just lost my shit, man. I was going crazy. I'm sorry about that, but sometimes it happens. But I deleted it, so hopefully you didn't see it. Because that was pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. That was pretty terrible. But now, if I do have any broken parts, or a buddy of mine has broken parts, I do have all the plastic in there. I cannot wait to try this truck out after changing the gearing. I think it'll be a little bit quicker on the jump. I think I'm going to move the battery a little more forward, move it up one spot. I put 27.5 oil in the front to try and help that. These standoffs, I think I just got to get a longer screw. I think I already have. I do have the longer screws. I need to get the standoffs, the longer standoff to make it sit in the front. I think I have some from my B64. Where are you at? Yeah, here's the standoffs. I don't know if y'all can see it, but here is a standoff for. These are the short wheelbase arms from Shell Racing for the B64. So I put them on here, and they come with a spacer, a longer screw, and a spacer for the standoff, and I need that spacer for this here, and it'll be fine. It'll work perfect. probably change it. I'm not going to be racing anytime soon. So, let me do that. Oh, I can't hold stuff. Getting old sucks, people. Especially if you're hard on your body and do not keep up on your diabetes. Then you have a kid run out there and rip a car out of your hand while you're trying to marshal. That kind of sucks too. But I did put, yeah, this will work. Oh joy, I forgot I had this. This is going to be awesome. Oh, come on. I did last night. I iced my hand down to try and relieve some of this pain. Never been in so much hand pain before, man. Knees, yeah. I've had knee pain like crazy. Any athlete will tell you that. Let's see here. Ah! I'm actually going to show growth today and get some practice in too. Ah, gosh. With the car, it'll be the first time I've had practice time on the track in its current iteration. Not a big fan of it, but other people on Facebook love it or like it, or I don't know how, man. That track, I think it's out of all the tracks that I see on the internet or anywhere really, it looks terrible to me because you lose sight of your car so bad. I like the idea of it because they were like, it's like a motocross thing and all that kind of jazz, and it is. It's got some cool elevations and stuff, but when you sacrifice, you know, being able to see your car just to try and make a neato track, kind of, especially for guys like me who aren't the best drivers, man. We're still out there learning how to drive and have to learn with not being able to see your car. Kind of sucky. But on the other track, when I had first started like a month ago, I was able, I mean, I went down there a couple Sundays and spent like 5 or so hours on both those Sundays learning. Don't quit saying I don't need to say learning how to drive, and I haven't been able to get back down to do that on this track. This is better. It's not the best, but it'll work. It's better than what it is, or what it was. So it's nice to get down there and actually practice. Practice? Yeah, practice. Be pretty gangster. I'll tighten that down all the way. Not really. I'm going to be driving this car for a bit. I need to get, once I get, it'll be like a trickle down effect. Once I get a new servo, new speed control, and I have motor all ready, so once I get a speed control and a receiver, or not a receiver, yeah, a receiver and a speed control and a servo, I can get the 64 going again, which would be kind of kick-ass. But I'm not running more than 2 classes, man. Sheesh. It's just almost impossible. It's hard for me to run 2. I can't imagine all those guys that run more than 2. And you know, shoot, $35 a night for 2 classes. It's like, oh, couldn't imagine spending more than that. Last week I spent $70 racing, and then I had to buy stuff because I broke. I'm like, oh god, that's a lot of money, man. But it is what it is. This will work a lot better. Hopefully they have it's not far enough up yet, but it'll work. Ah, gosh. It's hard to train yourself not to use everyday movements, and you want to grab stuff so bad. I can't anymore. No more. I think moving this to the... I'm trying to figure out why people do what they do with these cars, and so I will see. That was the insert to the shock that fell. I will see, because putting the shocks on the front does something different to the car and all this kind of stuff. So now I'll be able to get a feel. I mean, I know I'm not driving this truck yet, but I mean, you can feel when you change something in a car, when you're driving it, how it turns and all that stuff. You can feel it. People don't believe me, but you can. And and I will be able to see the difference tonight. And if I don't like it, I can suffer because I'm not going to bring this down there because I'm lazy. Been there. There we go. I like the B64. At this track, there's a lot of drivers in every class, really, except for stadium. Well, I think there were more stadium truck drivers on Saturday, but there were 4, including me. There were 4 last Wednesday, so I will try that out tonight. But there were a ton of 4-wheel drive cars. People love driving the 4-wheel drives. Because, I mean, and I drove my B64 around there, and it is fun. You can motor. And I'll try to get probably, I mean, I watched the, I watch the video of me driving all the time because it's a good way to be like, where you see where the car, it's like bowling to me. Uh, if you're a decent bowler, you hit your mark. That's what you're aiming for, and that's what you aim for when you're driving an RC car. You're aiming for a spot and having the car with the right um, trajectory, or you know how it's pointed. You want to have the car that way. You don't want um, you want to be consistent with that, not necessarily the height of your jump or the length, the throttle, and all that stuff, but how that car is oriented coming off a turn, hitting a spot where you think it to hit that next jump and land, and then so forth. At the If you've watched the um, racing videos, like when you come across the start finish or off the straightaway and you come down that little S to come into the start finish jump, you want to be orientated to the left of that jump, and then driving on an angle so you're close to the pillar. And that's just it's just one of the areas that I'm trying to hit, trying to do it the right way, trying to get all these things. So I'll be able to practice that tonight before we race and make myself even faster. Hopefully. It's the goal anyways. This thing, after I get the motor in there, I gotta freaking try it. That's gonna suck. It's one thing with the servo. When you put the servo horn on, it's freaking cockeyed, which drives me nuts. You think that they just said it, but no. Cockeyed. So then I gotta trim the hell out of it, make it work right, but everything else is good. Move the shocks. Should be all right. I'll see how it feels out there. See how it feels. I cannot wait. I'm gonna try these clicks too. The motor in there. Get them all done up. I think we're set. But anyways, hope this was information, or for you guys that are looking to get a T6.1. It's just like the buggy. The buggies went together primo. Same with this truck. Went together real well. It's the same steering parts. Goes together like a dream. Smooth. It has a lot of adjustments you can do on it. But it comes with the shocks on the back of the tower. So if you want to get it to the front of the tower, you're going to need a spacer. Or a different standoff. Maybe they got a aftermarket that you can change it up and put it on there. It can fit without a spacer. It's just on a wicked angle. I don't know how anal you guys are about that kind of stuff, but for me, that drives me nuts. It's got to be able to move a little bit, be good to go. So, if you like it, give me a sub or a thumbs up or something like that. If you don't, Sorry, man. I'm just putting stuff on YouTube. It's just me messing with my hobby. So, alright, guys. Have a good one. Ugh.